Hey guys, we're going to take a look at a really handy little tool. It's a digital angle gauge. This brand is the AccuMaster. There are quite a few different brands out there, so I'll give you my thoughts on this one. In cases where it really comes in handy, like setting up saw blades for true angles, setting up a bandsaw table, or even hanging picture frames. So anywhere you'd use a level, you can use this thing, and you can use this thing in situations where a level wouldn't fit, like setting up tools. Alright, so here's the AccuMaster up close. It comes with a little storage pouch. It's probably nylon. It's got a Velcro enclosure, and it's got a little belt loop in the back. I'm probably never going to use that. But anyway, so here it is, and it's got several different modes. It's got a true angle mode. I'm going to actually get it to turn on there. It's got a nice backlit screen, first of all. So you can read it in the dark or read it in low light situations. And it's got a true angle, which is what it's set on right now. So that's like absolute. You're not looking at any reference surface. This is according to the Earth. So it's like a level bubble basically. So it's using gravity with a MEMS triax accelerometer inside there, telling you which way is down. And then there's also the zero mode. So you see that S pop up. So this is flat. So you put it on a flat surface. I've got the table saw here it's sitting on because I wanted something that was absolutely flat. And so now this is true to this surface. So if I move it, I'm getting the angle off of that surface, which is what you're going to use when you're setting up your tool. You're going to, if you've got a blade that you're going to put this on, you put it on the bed of the saw and zero it, and then you put it on that saw blade. And we'll cover that later. So the readout gives you a little bit which way is up or which way you need to move it to get level. So right now it's telling me, so everything is off of this corner is 0. This is the one that you need to move, so it's telling you need to move it up. So that display shows you the angle that you're at, kind of you're below, and then you need to move, well, I'm moving this side down, but essentially moving the other side up. And then you get 0. It gives you a flat line, and then when you've got it up higher, you can see it says, hey, move this corner back down to get level. And then, of course, it changes your display real time. And if you say, well, I want to look at this angle, or if it's in a tight spot and you can't get to it, you can hit hold, and it'll freeze it there, and you can turn it, and it holds the angle. It is magnetic on the bottom, as you might have noticed. So it snaps to your saw blade, snaps to your any ferrous surface, and holds on there. So it's not going to stick on aluminum though, because that's not magnetic. You can turn the hold back off. There's also a mode switch. We're in degrees right now. There's percent grade. There's millimeters per meter, and there's inches per feet. You can see it changing. There you go. So I like to use degrees because I usually use this for setting up a saw blade. And then there's one more thing. You can actually calibrate it by holding both on, off, and hold when it's off. It says cal. You hit hold one more time. It says cal 1. You actually turn it around 180 degrees on that same flat surface and hit it one more time, and it'll pop up with cal 2. Now it's calibrated for this surface. So you reset what gravitational 0 is. So what it does basically is it takes an average of those two values and says, okay, now I know what 0 is. So it comes calibrated from the factory. You can recalibrate it yourself if you think it's acting screwy. All right, so let's talk about accuracy. This display goes to the 100th of a degree, but the AccuMaster states in its manual that it's accurate to 0.1 degrees, so that's the first decimal place right here, when it's at 0 or 90 degrees. And then when you've got it in between here at 1 to 89, it says it's accurate to 0.2 degrees. And what I'm guessing is going on there is the principal axis of the accels are straight up and straight sideways, so it's most accurate there. And when you've got it in between, it's doing math to figure it out, and you've probably got floating point error or rounding error or something that's not quite as accurate. So I'm guessing that's why it's 0.1 when it's straight up and down, and 0.2 when it's in between there. That's my educated guess, and I think that's right. Because otherwise it's really weird that they have different accuracy levels depending on where you're at. So this last digit here, kind of use it like when you're using a ruler and you've got a measurement that's in between two tick marks. Just keep in mind that's what this is. That's not an actual readout of 100 or 1/100th of a degree. So just keep that in mind. It's good to have that extra digit, but this is not, true to accurate all the time. All right, I think I covered all the features. I'm going to go ahead and use this. One thing I don't like about this is this screen right here is awfully flexible. It's not like a hard screen or anything like that. And I feel like if I ever drop this on a sharp corner, I could puncture it. I should probably stop poking it. But anyway, that's the only real big flaw that I don't like about this. Oh, and that and the we're at 0.52 right now. If you put it sideways, it doesn't always seem to get the exact same angle. So I don't think these sides are actually square, or perfectly square at least. So when you're measuring, always measure off of this base, because I don't think these two sides are perfectly square, which you'd think they'd actually make them square, but not a huge deal. Just use the base to measure. This thing is also IP54 rated, which means it's resistant to dust, completely sealed off from dust, and resistant to splashing water. So it's okay if you leave it out in the rain. If you're doing, roofing, you're doing a roofing grade or something like that. It's not waterproof, it's weatherproof. And once again, if you tilt it off of its angle, once you get it too far back, it'll tell you error. Well, it's going pretty far. There we go. So you got to use it straight up and down. So if you get it past 45 degrees, it doesn't work real well. Oh, and if you take this and flip it over, the display inverts, which is pretty awesome. So you don't have to turn your head upside down to read it. Once you get past 90 degrees, it'll actually auto-flip its display. That's a really nice feature. Okay, so let's see how this thing works setting up a saw blade. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to use this to set my table saw blade square. It's definitely not square right now. So we set it on the table saw, and my table saw looks like from the actual gravitational zero, it's 0.6 degrees off. So we're going to zero this because we want the blade relative to the saw. So we go ahead and hit 0. And now it's zeroed, so we stick this on the saw blade now. Yay for magnetism. Alright, so now looks like we're at 81.65 degrees. We're just going to turn this thing until it is level. That's the wrong way. Alright, getting there. I'm going to sneak up on it. Alright, 0.95. Remember, this is accurate to 0.1 degree. So that may be as close as I'm going to get it. But now we've got a vertical saw blade. We should be good to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to set it to 45 degrees. Or maybe 60 and 30. And then I'll be able to test the accuracy against itself. Because I should get a perfect 90-degree rip if I do it at 60 and 30. So let's do that. Alright, I've got it set at exactly 60 degrees. I'm going to lower the saw blade down so it's not quite so dangerous and make a rip cut. Then I'll do one at 30. Alright, I'm an idiot and realized my table saw can't do a 30-degree angle. It only goes down to 45. So we're stuck with measuring a 60-degree, and we'll do it on this. I'll grab a straight edge, and then we can measure it off of the angles on here. Alright, so here's that little cutoff piece. You can see I've got it on the square, and I've got my straight edge here, and it's right at 60. Be a little bit... depends on where I get. Yeah, there it is, right at 60. I think everything's butted up together. So, yeah, got a nice accurate angle off of the AccuMaster. I guess it's aptly named. And, for around 30 bucks, I think it's between $30 and $35 normally. This is a pretty good deal. I haven't seen many that are under 25 of these little digital angle gauges. And this one seems to offer a pretty good accuracy for the value. So hopefully this review is helpful. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments section below. And once again, don't forget to subscribe.